Today we are going to play Nomifactory. After claiming our welcome tablet, we quickly use its scanner app to find some diamonds, which we can collect with our gifted hammer, and to celebrate our wealth, we have also been given some cake. Apparently, eating with dirty hands gave us hallucinations. So we started building a platform of stone to avoid falling in our dreams. On this new foundation we shall start laying down the first furnaces and chests to store all of the materials we just mined. With that stuff we make our first steam machinery, required to craft a bricked blast furnace to get access to steel. And acquiring steel means that we can now build LV machinery, which we use to build an electric blast furnace, which, as usual, we shall power with solar boilers. And with that, we are now in the MV age. To progress further we will need some polyethylene, which was also the only thing we needed to unlock AE2. And that will be of great help inside our new cleanroom to craft the complex new circuits. And the first usage for our new circuitry is a vacuum freezer, which will allow us to harden titanium, and with that we can now craft a drill capable of mining the whole height of a vein in a single click. That way, we can easily gather the materials required to expand our solar boiler generator setup. But those large steam turbines didn't last longer than their rotors, because we already have a large combustion engine. However, we can't run it because we don't have an appropriate dynamo hatch, and making one is a whole new rabbit hole which starts from making rocket fuel to send a microminer in a pocket microverse. However, after purifying the tungsten and mixing it with steel, we figure out we have to upgrade our EBF to RTM coils in order to melt it. And to get those, we only lack of rutetium. So we quickly improvise the first half of a plat line. With that, we can now get the RTM coils, thus smelt the tungsten steel for a dynamo for our combustion generator. To power it, we only use the best fuel, high-octane gasoline, and that made our old solar boiler setup obsolete. Since it's in the way, we shall do some cleanup, and we can use all of that space we just made for our new PBI production plant. Next we make some more multi-blocks to expand our workshop. However, it turns out that some recipes can't be done in the wild like that, so we built a proper environment around the delicate machines. Now the issue was that the light bulbs kept popping. To get enough material for all of those and the future upgrades, we made a huge ore processing and sorting facility. Then, to keep up with the new energy consumption, we changed the color of the combustion generators. But our old cables couldn't keep up with that much power. So we made a power substation to properly split it across all of our base. Now we have powerful machines for everything, but those aren't better than the single block version yet. To make them stand out, we need parallel control hatches. However, crafting those will require a lot of nether stars, and since we are playing in hard mode, we are locked in peaceful difficulty. That means no wither farms. So, the best way to obtain these is to get them from another universe. Thus, we equip our tier 4 microverse mining drone with some swords to do the task, making it tier 4.5. Once built, we send it in our slightly bigger version of microverse and we wait for the loot to come back. Finally, we use all of those rods to craft a nether star. Moving on. The next full tier rocket is the tier 5, but this one will need better fuel, such as plutonium. After quickly diving deep into nuclear craft, we managed to salvage some, which we use to power our new rocket and get some minerals from which we can extract naquada. With that, we can make coils capable of melting trinium, which makes even better coils. And it doesn't stop there. With trinium, we can also make superconducting coils. Those aren't for a blast furnace but for something that will be built by our new assembly line. A fusion reactor. This is a huge toroidal structure that, after charging up with a lot of energy, will start fusing light elements to create new ones that can't be found in nature, such as europium. And with that new material we can start crystallizing some chips that can be used to go beyond the limitations of silicon, making a new series of more advanced processors. However, single steps of those circuits and their components are starting to take way more energy than our combustion generator could produce. To fix that issue, we added some powerful solar panels, but those didn't keep up for long. One of the main issues is that they don't always work. And, as the sun sets, we take a deep breath. Then we exhale our blazing pyrotheum and high-octane gasoline dragon breath on some metal dust to make it draconic. We give that dust a quick heating in our blast furnace with the addition of some gasoline, and cool it down into an ingot. We make this material pass multiple times inside our new fusion crafter, until we manage to craft a new tier of rocket out of it, and this one requires a new tier of microverse projector. This time, we will be scouting for dragon hearts, which we shall use to make a celestial manipulator to make the knights fly away. And the way this machine actually works is by distracting us with cool animations for long enough for the sun to rise naturally. Anyways, after all of that, we can go back to our research for new materials, and what we found out is that, with a new tier of fusion reactor, we can get tritanium. And the first thing we can do with it is to upgrade our clean room into a sterile room. However, since that upgrade was expensive, we made a smaller one on the side, and we made sure to optimize the space we have inside it. With this new sterile environment, we can now make stem cells. As usual, making progress will make the sheeple. Sorry, fat cows mad at us, but we shall ignore it and move on to our old clean room, where we can make the best circuit boards available. Then we build some neuro processing boards on those for our new wetware circuits. However, we are not yet capable of clustering those into a mainframe. That is because we do not have enough computation power for that research, so we upgrade our computer. But that was still not enough, so we built a network switch to chain even more computers together, thus reaching the needed computation for our new circuit. This data orb is bigger than the previous ones, so it has to be read by a data bank to be used. And, with that, we now have unlocked the highest tier of circuit in the game, which we shall use to make the highest tier of fusion reactor, which will allow us to produce the material required for the highest tier of micro-universe harvester. But it's not enough on its own. And, of all of the materials required, the one we miss is omnium, which is an agglomerate of every early game material. So, after collecting a stack of each one of those materials, we managed to finally build the highest tier of rocket, which produced the hearth of an universe. The first use we have for those is stabilizing microminers. This will make them strong enough to come back from their missions, thus giving us virtually infinite goodies, all at the cost of building one extra multi-block with the cost of about half a fusion reactor. And with that, we can go back on our ode to the infinity ingot. And you might notice there is no infinite tank here, so, instead of the iconic fluid solidifier spam, we shall have extractor spam, but we are also going to need more air collectors, so we get a PA, then we upgrade and even cluster it, and all of this air must be cooled with our new chiller and distilled with a bigger fractionating tower. Next we shall also build a couple more fusion reactors, but fluids are not the only issue. We shall also have a bigger blast furnace, which we can build with the help of the new app of our tablet. This rotary hearth furnace is going to melt 4 stacks of items at once, using UIV power, and all of those items are then processed in our new assembly line cluster. To power all of those new machines, we needed something special. We tried various methods, but the best solution was the most simple one, using a tick accelerator on neutronium solar panels. The bottleneck is the energy converters, and we are already using the best kind. Also, this setup makes way more energy than our decorative disco balls combined. And now that we've fixed about all of the main issues, we can start working on the creative chest. To get one we will need a lot of materials, most of them are passively produced, so we can just wait a little bit. There are also some items for which we haven't prepared a recipe yet. But one thing caught our attention: apples. We can get those either by opening loot boxes or with social engineering. But rather than doing those two things, I'd say we can touch some grass and collect apples like Newton did, by letting them hit us on our head, thus gaining the insight and inspiration to build a machine that does this task for us. With that out of the way, we can start crafting the parts of our objective one at a time while trying to fix the bottlenecks. So we build more fusion reactors, faster solidifiers, accelerated ultimate crafting, A second draconic crafter. More microverse projectors. More actualizators. More alloy blast smelters. More fusion reactors. A bigger oil distillery plant. A bigger breeder reactor. A thing that simplifies annoying craftings. However, to power all of those machines we needed a more versatile energy source. So we quickly craft an infinite GTU emitter, which we set to really high settings and then attach a peer-to-peer to. Now we can start throwing 16 amps UHV energy hatches everywhere. Or at least wherever we can. Otherwise, like with fusion reactors, we will simply be building more of it. And now we go back to fixing bottlenecks, such as our soul binder. We make more subnetted mixers. Add some more LCR clusters. Increase our cobblestone production and storage capacity. Stare at our cobblestone stocks. We add a bunch more of crafting units. Increase our mega blast furnace count. We overclock our nuclear reactor. We increase our packaging capacity. We build more electrolyzers. We add more fusion reactors. We overbuild the plastic production. We increase our air collection. We get many more packages and build more and more overclocked package crafters. We build more fusion reactors. We increase our sugarcane farming capability. And in multiple ethanol cell. More. Bigger tobacco enrichment plant. Faster packaging. More stuff. We make more stuff. Build more fusion reactors. Increase our manufacturing speed. Increase our food formula. Make more Neuro. We overbuy units of XYZ. We accelerate. We add infinity. We add more Neuro Circuits. We speed up the temperature. We accelerated a full-size nuclear craft reactor. And after completing the third fusion tower, we can start assembling the most expensive item of the pack, the creative chest. And since we have no time to waste, to craft it quicker, we are going to use the power sources of our base. And now that we put together all the pieces, the creative chest is finally ours. And with that in our hands, we can finally say that we completed this mod pack and we can move on to the next one. Bye bye.